soon as they're dismissed, Arizona State, St. John's locker room is open for 30 minutes from that point on. Who's on the Arizona State beat here? I say it's with
Lugans, French Canadian.
emphasis on the second syllable. Thank you. So before we get going, just some ground rule stuff, guys. With recording devices, we just can't have any up on the table. Post-game procedures. As soon as Arizona State's up here, we do winner first here in Dayton because they got to catch a flight and get to their first-round site. No, you cannot. No video recording. The distribution sites are across the hall. No flash photography. With Arizona State up here, their locker room is open for 30 minutes from this point on. Once Arizona State's dismissed, so once we dismiss Bobby after the players go, St. John's locker room from that point on, that's when the 30-minute clock starts ticking on their locker room. So they're open for 30 minutes once Arizona State's dismissed. If you got a question, just raise your hand. We'll bring the mic around. You don't have to do it for every question, but just your first one, name and affiliation. And we just ask that for our transcription purposes, you guys wait for the mic before asking your question. Formatics-wise, if Bobby would like to, he can open up with an opening statement, and then we'll open the floor for questions just for our student athletes. So, yeah, Bobby, go ahead.
I really loved how we started the game and really took control of the game. And I thought our defense was very good. We mixed our defenses up some, and our zone was pretty effective in the first half and played very well in the offensive end. I think 14 of 26 at halftime from the field, and so played really clean at that end of the floor. And it was nice to have that margin. And in the second half, in order to continue to play in this tournament, we understand that we got to take care of the ball better. And but they have good athletes, and they never gave in, and very instinctive, players, and really good basketball team. So it's exciting, to get this win, and happy for our guys, happy for our seniors, and so it's going to be exciting now heading to Tulsa.
So questions for Lugens and Xylon only at this point, right here on the aisle, on the right.
Lugens, Hood Rubino, Devil's Digest. Just talk about the nasty fall that you took in the second half, and do you think it affected your play from that point on?
At first, I was just trying to go get the rebound, and then he didn't do it on purpose. He went out for the ball too. I was just a little higher than him, and I just fell. And then
I'm not surprised.
I had my knee in my butt a little bit, and I just had to walk through it, and then I was fine.
Here in front left.
Chris Cartman, Sun Devil Source, for either of you, just the decision to play zone and how you think that went. It seemed like early on you had them really off balance with your defense.
Lugens, can you answer that?
Can you say that again, please? My fault.
It seemed like you had them very off balance with your defense, switching up, going zone. They really struggled early on. Can you just talk about that?
Our scouting, we knew that they were a good team going one-on-one. And I just felt like by going on the zone, it was just kind of hard for them to get involved to the play and beat us one-on-one because we had to help.
Go around here. Here.
For both of you guys, not only playing in your first NCAA tournament game but winning your first NCAA tournament game, Coach said that was for him in coaching this game one of the more meaningful parts of it. Just you guys getting the opportunity. What was it like for you?
Lugens, can you start?
It was just great. I mean, we knew that at the beginning of this year, we knew that we wanted to do something special, and then getting some good wins like this, coming into a tournament and getting some tough wins like this, it's just great for us.
Silent?
I mean, first of all, just being out there was just a privilege for me. It was an unbelievable environment, unbelievable event, and as far as just getting a win, I mean, I'm gonna say that one's for the city. I mean, I've witnessed ASU go through so much in this tournament, and to be a part of the shifting culture is just an unbelievable experience for me.
Here in front right.
Carson Field, Devils in Detail. This is to either of y'all. Not being selected into the round of 64, but the first four. Do you guys come into this with a chip on your shoulder?
Silent?
I think we keep a chip on our shoulder naturally, regardless. But I mean, we were utmost grateful just to be selected at that point. I'm not sure if you've seen our video, but it was a lot of stress and just anxiety, not really knowing if we were going to get in. So to be selected, regardless of where it was at, we were just grateful for it.
Here in front right.
Michelle Gardner, Arizona Republic. Guys, do you feel like you've kind of got the monkey off your back? This team won a postseason game. Now it's been a while since the school won a postseason game.
I'm gonna say we didn't pack for just one game. We're really locked in. We're really focused, and obviously this is a big step in the right direction. But we're not content by any means. We're hungry for more, and we want to take the season as far as it can go. So,
Lugens?
Say that again, please.
He had to chase Shamari Pons around all night, so he's a little bit tired.
Yeah, I'm a little.
Over here.
Hodrobino Devils Digest Island. Were you surprised that you had issues rebounding with a team that you definitely had a clear height advantage against?
Yeah, but I mean, I can't have unbelievable rebounding games every game. So you just kind of got to take what you can get. Our guards, I want to say Rob had 6 defensive rebounds at half. So that just shows that our guards are coming in there and cleaning up. And I think I did a really good job boxing out and keeping my man off the glass. So I'm not really too concerned with numbers as long as my team gets the rebound and we can go.
Chris Cartman, Sun Devil Source. Early on, you were scoring from the mid post. You guys are, getting the ball inside pretty consistently with a sharp focus on that. Can you just talk about taking advantage of that against an undersized team?
In these tournaments and in these games, you gotta exploit mismatches by any means, whether that's guard play or big play. And this game just so happened to be with us. So me, Romello, Daquan, we did a really good job in getting post position. We knew they were going to be a smaller lineup, and we just tried to take advantage of it. I mean, I missed some chippies. We all missed some chippies, but I think that was a point of emphasis going into this game, and I think we executed that pretty well.
Got time for one more? Right here.
Yeah, this is for Zylan. I saw at the end of the game you embraced Coach Hurley's brother. What's your relationship with Danny Hurley, and how cool was it to see him support his brother tonight?
I mean, honestly, I thought it was Bobby, to be honest. No, I'm joking, but that was actually my first time personally meeting him. So obviously, I've watched him since Rhode Island and at UConn this year, and he's an unbelievable guy. And I mean, anybody that's family of my coach is family to me. So I just wanted to do a good job in embracing him and pretty much letting him know that we appreciate the support flying out here. He didn't have to do that, so.
I'm going to top that. Zylan Lugens, thank you for your time. Good luck against Buffalo. All right, we'll open the floor for questions for Coach Hurley at this point. Right here on the right.
Bobby, you've called Remy Martin a warrior lately. Would you put Lou in that category?
Yeah, I mean, he's a freshman, and for him to deliver that type of performance, pretty special. Just alone for the amount of energy he expends on defense. He had some tough assignments tonight, and really, chasing Shamari Pons around, and then being able to make the plays he made on the offensive end. Just shows how elite he is a player, and I'm glad he has the opportunity to show the country that on this type of stage.
You're on the right.
Coach Trevor Booth, Devils in Detail. You didn't have the size last year with Z and Dort and some of those guys in order to create the rebounding edge that you were tonight and that physical edge. What did it say to have those guys tonight in order to have that strength and play better in this
Yeah,
game?
I just think it's you could run offense through Zylan and even Romello White early, and we're able to take advantage of the paint some, more so early in the game than as the game wore on. But it established, a focus of getting the ball inside, and then Lou is just a big guard that can move so well, and he's pretty nasty on defense. So when you have a guy like that, you could put him on, any of the top, perimeter players on a team, and he's going to make them work for everything.
We're here on the left first.
Chancellor Johnson, Cronkite News. Coach, your brother is often, coaching at the same time as you, but tonight he obviously came out to support you. What does it mean to you to have him show up and support you in this moment?
Yeah, I mean, we're so close and we talk so much, and I'm sure he was very familiar with our team and our players, and just getting a chance to spend time with him this afternoon a little bit, it just means everything that he took the time out, and he's recruiting and as his seasons end and trying to rebuild UConn basketball, and he's going to be a major success there. But just looking over to him, I got a little strength. I usually only have my wife behind the bench to look at for strength in some tough moments, but it was nice to have more reinforcements, and to get a chance to see Dan after the game was awesome. I was able to watch his Creighton game a few years ago in the NCAA tournament, and it was I just so proud of watching him do his thing out there on the basketball court.
You're all right.
Coach, what about Remy's status? Obviously, he was not quite the same. We know he's been struggling with the groin. How healthy do you think he was today? And it seemed to affect you guys' play when he wasn't in the game.
Yeah, we're just, as we had control of the game, I was trying to get him in and out of the game as I needed, because the last thing I wanted to do was give him a chance to re-injure himself and re-aggravate that injury. So, I mean, I thought he moved fairly well at times. He just, he didn't get any reps in practice for a couple of days until the day before, so I'm sure that had some impact. But he's one of the toughest kids I've ever been around, and he'll tell me he's getting close to 100%. I don't know if he's being completely truthful when he says that, though.
Here in the back left.
You consider it an insult or a compliment that one of your players confused you for your brother?
What's up?
Is it an insult or a compliment that Zylan confused you for your brother?
Yeah, our mannerisms are a lot, very much the same, especially on the sideline. And they, I make those guys watch UConn basketball and Rhode Island basketball. Last year, I had them watch how hard Rhode Island defended to try and get us to defend as hard as Rhode Island did. So I'm sure they loved the handshake line with Syracuse earlier in the year when my brother had the exchange with his player, and then quickly got back to business and shook Coach Boeheim's hand. It was one of their favorite moments, our guys. So I may not have directly answered that, but that's what I got.
Are you looking forward to getting a chance to play your old Buffalo and Oates, and what do you think about seeing those guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's more for me just to. I said it after the game. I love coaching these guys. They're such a fun group to coach, and they have a bunch of winners, and just we don't want the journey to end, and that's what it's about this time of year. You just gotta keep making plays and attack each game, and I haven't really had a lot of time to think about how I'm going to feel on Friday, but Nate and I spoke, and we both agreed that we're really good friends, and we both helped each other tremendously in our careers, but that's probably not going to matter a whole lot on Friday.
Last two here and on the line.
Bobby, when you and Nate know each other so well, what does that do in terms of the gamesmanship or just the XO component of a game like this?
Yeah, we have a tendency just to watch our teams more when we can, and we're both really busy with our own seasons. But Nate's only a notch behind how I watch UConn. I watch just about every UConn game, so I try and watch Buffalo when I can and root for him. But there are some elements of offense that I've did at Buffalo with Nate, and then there are a lot of other things that I've done since I've gotten here. So there's been some change in what we do at that end of the floor, and I just know for sure watching Nate Oates' teams is they really take on his his character and his personality by, how hard-nosed he is and how fiery he is. And his kids play extremely hard, and they have a chip on their shoulder. The whole mid-major thing, I think they're tired of that. So it's going to be a heck of a game.
Last one.
Coach, 21 turnovers tonight. What needs to be done to cut down on that number as the competition increases?
I think we were a little uncharacteristic with just being slightly careless, and we had the big lead. And give St. John's credit for just never giving in and really battling through that game and trying to generate those turnovers. It's what they do very well. And so and maybe not having Remy as good as he normally would be against pressure, he would just like dribble through everything, and we may not necessarily have that luxury right tonight. So we'll look at all the turnovers and try and make some adjustments.
Bobby, thank you.
Thank
Good
you
luck
very much.
against Buffalo. We're now being joined by the head coach of St. John's, Chris Mullen, as well as student-athlete Shamori Pons and Justin Simon. We will start by opening the floor for questions for Shamori and Justin only at this point. Right here on the left.
John Fanta, Big East Digital. Shamari, what kind of didn't go right tonight?
I mean, we just ain't hit shots. We didn't shoot it well. I felt like we was playing good defensively down the stretch, but, I mean, we just couldn't hit a shot.
Right here on the right.
Shamori, in your mind, when the gap gets big like that in the first half, it might have been 18, how does that have an impact on the way the rest of the game is going to play out?
I mean, it definitely has an impact, but I mean, with this group, we always been down big. Coach kind of compared it to the Villanova game when we got down big at the half and cut it back. We did the same, but we just couldn't get over the hump.
You're good. On the left.
Shamori, I know you thought a lot about last spring what you would do this year, and you came back. Do you think you know what you're going to do now?
No.
Could you see yourself coming back for another year?
No comment.
Justin, it seemed like tonight there were moments where you started to creep back in. What do you kind of attribute this loss to?
Really what Shamari said. I feel like we were fighting back, but we couldn't get over that hump. There's a little hump. Something would happen, a turnover or a missed box out, or a foul, something like that. And we couldn't really hit shots. We couldn't really hit shots throughout the whole game and really get our rhythm.
You're on the right.
Justin, the game tonight was, if not the lowest shooting percentage for your season, one of them, and the last game I think might have been the lowest. Is there a reason that the shooting hasn't been happening at the end of the season?
No, I don't think there's any reason behind it. It's basketball. Some games we're hot, some games we're not, and like you said, those past 2 games, I just think we weren't really hitting shots.
Aaron, right again.
Shamori, did this year, how would you assess this season? You make the tournament, but you lose in the first 4. There was some thought you guys could contend for a Big East title. That didn't quite happen. I mean, do you feel like you underachieved, overachieved? I mean, how would you rate this season?
I'll say this year was a great season. I mean, a lot of people doubted us. They didn't expect us to be here. But, I mean, I feel like overall it was a great season. We achieved a lot. And I'm not satisfied, but I'm happy.
All right again.
Shamori, in terms of things that you wanted to accomplish at St. John's, I think probably at the top of the list was getting them back to the tournament. Even though you're disappointed right here, do you think that you will be able to look back at this season and feel pretty good about it?
Definitely. I feel like we achieved a lot of things. We won a championship early in the year. I'm happy with this group. We fought each and every night. Just unfortunately, we couldn't come out with the win.
To sort of follow up, how disappointing, can you find the words here to sort of explain to us how disappointed you are with the way that the team showed up tonight?
I'm not disappointed with the guys. It happens. It's life. You go through ups and downs. Overall, this group, I'm very proud of this group. I love this group. So, I'm just happy with this group.
You're right.
After the Villanova win, it was probably one of the high points of the season. It looked like this team was really headed to big things, and you followed up losing 6 of 8. Could you pinpoint anything that happened after that game for why maybe you guys didn't keep soaring and maybe plateaued at that point?
I don't have no answer to it. I can't really hit it on the head, but it happens.
For Justin, you and Marv have been very close through the whole thing. Shamori also, but you guys went through that whole sit-out year together and seem very, very close as a result of that. He was obviously disappointed with not scoring in this game and not really sort of finishing. How much do you feel for him at the end of his last game?
Me, Marv, and Shamari, we all came here together. Marv does a lot of things that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. He affects the game in so many ways, and he helps us out when we mess up. He's our leader. He's a great guy. And, like I said, he did a lot of things that didn't show up tonight in the stat sheet, but he's a great player. He's going to give it his all. I know he has no regrets on tonight. I know he probably wanted to score, whatever, but he still affected the game for us and helped us in major ways.
Time for one
this
more.
whole year.
Any further questions? All right. Shamori and Justin, thank you. Congratulations on your season.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
And we will open the floor for questions for Coach Mullen at this point. Yep, here on the right by the pillar.
I guess the place to start is, Chris, where do you think it was tonight? Where do you think things didn't go right for y'all?
Across the board. We had turnovers, uncharacteristic turnovers. And then I think we shot, 31%. It wasn't, layups, free throws. It was everything. So it was probably one of our worst games of the season overall. But I tell you what, I told the team, it was a really fun team to coach. It wasn't the most, consistent, but they were really, really good guys to coach. I really appreciated their work ethic and the way they showed up each day, whether we had a really bad loss or a good win. So I appreciated them, and got to give Arizona State a lot of credit and congratulations to Bobby Hurley and Arizona State. I think they played a good game. Pretty sloppy, both ways. 21 turnovers, 16 turnovers. Yes, we just couldn't get anything going. Even when we got a little spurt, we had a 2-on-1 and we had a dunk and things like that. We just couldn't put anything together.
Here on the left.
Chris, can you reflect on what this group of guys has meant for you and your coaching tenure?
Yeah, so the guys up here, you know, Justin, Shamari, and Marvin, the last 3 years, they've been a pleasure. They really have. I think they've conducted themselves on and off the court with class and dignity. They've all improved their basketball game, and that's through highs and lows. You know, I thought the way they've handled winning and losing with class and dignity. So that's something I appreciate about them, and I just wish we could have played better tonight. I wanted them to move on. You know, I think I do think, you know, if we would played a good game, we could give people trouble. So we've showed that, but it just wasn't meant to be tonight.
You're in the aisle.
Chris, like I asked the guys, since that Villanova game, guys that lost 6 of 8, what did you notice that kind of led to maybe the team not playing its best the last month or so?
I'd have to think about that. I can't really even remember the last game, quite frankly. I mean, that fluctuates. It fluctuates within games. You know, you're talking about, you know, we didn't play well at all tonight. We had some type of flurry. I don't know where it came from. You know, we scored 40 points in the second half. I don't know how. We shot 30%, you know, missing free throws, layups, but they tried hard to stay in the game. And, yeah, so I'd have to really kind of go back and think about it. I can't really even remember who those last 8 games were, to tell you the truth.
We'll hear it on the aisle.
Chris, I know that Shamori hasn't said that he's made a decision or anything, but if this was his last collegiate game, how do you think people should take a look at and assess the career he had at St. John's and what he did?
Yeah, let's be sure to make, I'm not, you know, declaring him one way or the other. I don't want to get, yeah. No, I said it yesterday before, you know, he's had an incredible 3-year career, one of the, probably the best 3 years of any player. You know, I don't know what those numbers are. I don't really follow all that stuff, but he's been an incredible player, had a huge impact on our program, on the school, I think, in New York. I think people love him. You know, he's a kid that stayed home, and he's been so good statistically. I think a lot of times his improvement gets overlooked. I was telling Mike yesterday, he's really improved in a lot of areas, and he's handled everything, I think, with class and dignity. He's just a sweet kid, quiet, but he's got a great heart, and he works hard, and I want nothing but the best for him. And I think he's going to go down as one of the best players in St. John's history. You know, times like this, you know, like I told him in the locker room, it hurts, it stinks to lose. You know, I've sat in a locker room plenty of times at every level of basketball. So this one stings and it hurts, but these guys, you know, as days go by, and they'll appreciate what they did here. And they should be, you know, proud of themselves.
Good. Sure, yeah.
Chris, because you have the knowledge and experience of having been an NBA executive, regardless of what Shamori decides as far as for next year, do you take a look at him and say, you know, this is a guy who's ready?
I'll get him all direct feedback from every GM and owner. He'll get direct feedback from everybody in the NBA, just like we did last year. He'll get the direct information from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
Last one here in the aisle.
2 things, Chris, if I could. First off, there were a couple of times in the first half where you looked over at you, and it was almost like you were just stunned by what you were seeing, to a point where, I mean, I guess the question is, I mean, did you expect you guys to come out and play well? I mean, and the way they played was kind of just puzzling to kind of figure it out?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was stunned. I was, I wouldn't say disappointed. Yeah, a little bit just kind of surprised, I would say. Just simple plays that I've seen our guys make, you know, each and every day, whether it be in shoot-around or practice, just very uncharacteristic. Yeah, and you know, as the game wore on, it's something we just had to play through, and it just sometimes you start a game and you start off slow, whatever, and you find your rhythm. We never found it at all, and yet at one point I think we're down 7 points, with the chance to lay a ball in. So yeah, it was I would say more surprised. I didn't think. Yelling or kicking or screaming was going to do anything. It was something we had to play through. So that I felt kind of helpless in a way, but more surprised at just simple things that we do pretty well on a regular basis just wasn't there tonight.
Chris, thank you.
Well, you got one more. He's royalty in New York.
Just going back to Shamar a little bit. I mean, do you find yourself kind of playing two parts here? Because obviously him being back would benefit you next year as the coach of this team, and yet, you're obviously loyal to the kid. And you want to be able to give him the best advice you can.
That to me that's a simple one. I sat on the other end of that as a GM and talked to college coaches. It's really where he stacks up with the NBA. It's got nothing to do with me. The good things I know all the GMs and mostly all the owners. So I just want him to get all the direct, legit information for him to make a smart decision. But as far as like I said, when a kid's ready, I'm all in. He needs to go if he gets, if it's going to be the right decision for him.
Chris, thanks.
Thank you.